Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm looking at the San Francisco 49ers and talking about what they should do at their new first round draft pick in number 3 overall after trading with the Miami Dolphins. But before getting into that topic, question for those of you viewing. Going into conspiracy theory land, say you were starting an NFL franchise, who would be the one 49ers player that you would take on your team, all-time 49ers players? However, you can't pick Joe Montana, Steve Young, or Jerry Rice. And I know you're probably thinking, well, what the hell, that's our 3 best players ever. Why would you do that? But it just makes you think harder, and it makes it more interesting because those would be some obvious picks. Now you got to go outside of the box and think you'd go. And yes, there's still plenty of great 49ers players, so don't act like there's no one to pick from. You still got Terrell Owens, you still got Ronnie Lott, you still got Frank Gore, you got the best cornerback of all time, Deion Sanders, you can pick a guy from today, George Kittle, Nick Bosa, whoever it is, one 49ers player in franchise history. Who's the one guy you're taking on your conspiracy theory land team outside of Jerry Rice, Steve Young, and Joe Montana? But getting into this topic into all seriousness, the 49ers have traded their number 12th overall pick, a third-round pick, and a first-round pick in 2022 and 2023 in exchange for number 3 overall with the Miami Dolphins. And you don't make this type of trade and sacrifice this amount of your future to go get an offensive tackle or a receiver or a defensive player. This is to change your franchise and go with the quarterback. And I know people are saying they're not trading Jimmy G. They have no intentions to trade Jimmy G. That doesn't damn mean that Jimmy G is going to start by any means. So with them going to number 3 overall, Trevor Lawrence, he's out of the picture. You know he's going to the Jaguars. That's not on their radar. But a big question mark is that will determine what the Niners do. Is Zach Wilson going to the Jets or not? To me, I'm invested in Sam Darnold if I'm the Jets. I'm giving him one more chance. I think he still never really had a team that really allowed him to be great or showed his greatness. If you put Sam Darnold in a Baker Mayfield situation where he's got a best offensive lineman, the best backfield, and great receivers, he's going to do just as good as Baker Mayfield. So therefore, I think with the scraps he's got on his Jets team, it's not fair to kick him off because you surrounded him with garbage. No matter who you put in that quarterback position, they're not going to be able to work with the garbage you gave on the past 3 years. This year will be different. You got a defense you can rely on. Offensive line is getting better. You got Corey Davis. So if I'm the Jets, I'm sticking with Darnold. And even I might be looking to trade the number 2 overall pick and see who else what other teams and nonsense I could create in the offseason. But I think, in my opinion, they will stick with Sam Darnold and go with Penei Sewell. In that scenario, the obvious pick would be Zach Wilson. He's a top prospect outside of Trevor Lawrence at the quarterback position coming out, and he'd be a first-round draft or number 1 overall pick any other year besides the Trevor Lawrence year when generational talent's coming out. So that would be my simple answer, but I know a lot of people are set on Zach Wilson going to the Jets, so I will go down that path as well because it wouldn't just be as easy as what I made up, I think. In my opinion, won't go that simple, but that is what I would do. So assuming Trevor Lawrence is going to the Jags and Zach Wilson is going to the Jets, you're kind of left at number 3 looking at Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones. I'm not going to include Mac Jones in this pick by any means. And, there's thoughts, well, what if they're going to trade number 3 overall to the Texans and create a Deshaun Watson trade, and then you would trade Jimmy G, and yeah, that's good in theory, but you wouldn't trade your other 2 first-round picks if you'd go down the Deshaun Watson path. You would have used that as draft capital because number 3 overall is not going to be enough for a Deshaun Watson move. So they're looking at Trey Lance or Justin Fields. That's it. It's between those 2 guys. 99% likely it will be one of those 2, and that is a question the Niners have to answer. A lot of people like Justin Fields and think he will go there, and that's why this trade happened. So Justin Fields can go to San Francisco, and he doesn't have to start right away. He can sit behind Jimmy G, learn the system. Jimmy G is not a bad quarterback. He's not top tier, but he's good. Justin Fields can learn from him. He can get used to this offense. He can see what he has to work with. He'll have OTAs and a regular training camp and regular practices, unlike the rookies this past year. So Justin Fields would learn a lot from Jimmy Garoppolo, and he could easily ease into that system. And, he's an athletic guy. He's bigger and I feel more stronger and stable than Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, obviously he's not in the NFL yet, so we don't know how he could take a hit. But just given the history of Jimmy G, Justin Fields doesn't have much to top by any means. He's a big dude. He's athletic and fast. Apparently, he ran a 4.4 40-yard dash. That is insane speed for a quarterback. That is something one of your top receivers runs. So for him to crank out a 4.4 at the quarterback position, you're looking at like Kyler Murray type of speed, in my opinion. So, and Justin Fields is much bigger than Kyler Murray. So that is a good option. You'll have a dual threat quarterback, arguably, And even Trey Lance is pretty athletic and mobile himself. I don't know if he's going to crank out a 4.4, but he's a big athletic guy himself. But looking at the Justin Field path, he'll learn from Jimmy G. He's got a good deep ball. He's accurate. He's got a good deep ball throw that's pretty accurate. He's got good arm strength, and I think he's more stable. And I think he's not going into a team where it's like, boom, start right away. He wouldn't be drafted by, a team such as the Panthers that want him to start day one, or the Broncos that want him to start day one. He would go to the Niners, who will more likely than not start Jimmy G for the year, unless they get a Zach Wilson. I feel like Zach Wilson would be starting, but who knows? Or they could go the other route, Trey Lance. If you go with Justin Fields, you know what you're getting. You're probably going to get a 7 out of 10 type of quarterback, around there, some type of rating, I guess. He's not a 10 out of 10 like Trevor Lawrence. He's not 8 to 9 out of 10 like Zach Wilson. You're getting a 7 out of 10, but you know what you're getting. Trey Lance, he could be anywhere from a 4 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 like Trevor Lawrence, and that is where the gamble is there for the 49ers. Because Trey Lance, what he has played, he's played phenomenally. He has one good year in college football. I believe he had 28 or 29 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. However, that was pretty much it. He didn't play another season. He doesn't have a lot more tape. He just didn't play a lot. So from what we saw, we think he's amazing, but we don't know if we've seen enough to judge it all. The sample size is a factor you have to consider when ranking a prospect and evaluating one, and that is one area that Trey Lance lacks. So I'm curious to see, are they going to go with the safe play in Justin Fields, and you know what you're getting, you got a quarterback that could probably be a franchise guy and be a pretty good quarterback in the NFL, or are you going to try and roll the dice with Trey Lance and go for a guy that might be the face of your franchise, as in he is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, he was the best quarterback of the draft, or he might be the face in the franchise of that was the biggest mistake the 49ers ever made in their entire lives, trading up for this guy, and you gave up your 2 first rounders the following years, and he turned out to be a total bust. We should have seen more tape. We should have known that there just wasn't enough to evaluate him. It's up to the Niners, but to me, with just how much they gave up, I feel like they're going to go with the safe play. This move was already risky. To me, now that they've taken the risk, they are going to go safe and go with the best player available, and to them, that is probably Justin Fields. Me, I like Trey Lance. I like the gamble there. From what we saw, it works, and I think same thing as Justin Fields. If Trey Lance went to the Niners, he doesn't have to start right away. While he needs some damn reps and experience under his belt because he didn't get a lot of it in college, he just needs to learn the system, and that is a top priority if he goes to the Niners. Let Jimmy G start for a year. You're still going to win football games. It's not like Jimmy G's garbage. You still got I guess you could compare Jimmy G to Kirk Cousins. I mean, he's a good quarterback. He's not awful. He could throw the football, all right? Like, Jimmy G is not this garbage guy that the Niners they despise. I mean, he took him to a Super Bowl, but like I said in the previous video, they're looking at their division. They did exactly what the Rams did. The Rams, when they had Jared Goff, they looked at their division and was like, damn, we got Russell Wilson in our division. We got Kyler Murray. We got Jimmy Garoppolo. And then there's Jared Goff. We got the worst quarterback in the division. Yeah, we might have the best defense. Yeah, we might have a great coach. Yeah, we might have great receivers. But if you don't have a good quarterback, you can only get so far. But now that they got Matt Stafford, the tables have turned on the Niners. And it goes Russell Wilson, Matt Stafford, Kyler Murray. And the Niners like, we got Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not bad, but we got to be able to compete with this division. And we need to step up the quarterback position there. And I'm not saying a rookie such as Trey Lance or Justin Fields is going to be able to go toe-to-toe with an experienced Matt Stafford and a Super Bowl winner Russell Wilson in his first year, but long-term, the Niners need to compete. I mean, their team's relatively young, so they could stick around for Justin Fields or Trey Lance to mature. I mean, Nick Bosa's only going in his third year. George Kittle's still got some youth to him. Brandon Ayuk's just a rookie. Deebo Samuel's young and fast. This team is relatively young. Yeah, there's some age, like Trent Williams is up there in age, but I think they just signed like a 5 or 6 year contract. Fred Warner, you're going to have him a while, and you're going to work on the cornerback position. You got rid of the biggest age factor on Richard Sherman. That might be a liability losing to him because he's still a good corner. But either way, this team is young enough to invest in a quarterback to where they don't have to win a Super Bowl this year. They can let him grow and mature and eventually become a quarterback caliber type player, Super Bowl quarterback type of player. So overall, that is up to the Niners. Do they want to roll the dice on Trey Lance, who has more upside but also more downside, or Justin Fields? They know what they're getting. A guy that could probably be the face of a franchise, but he's not going to be, the next Peyton Manning. He's not going to be the next Russell Wilson. He might be, I don't know, Kyler Murray. We don't know what Kyler Murray even is, so I don't think that's a good comparable. Scratch that. But still, you know what you're getting out of Justin Fields. He's not going to save the team. He might take the Niners to the Super Bowl, but he's not going to win you 5-6 rings, whereas Trey Lance is not going to say he's going to win 5-6 rings either, and I'm kind of rambling right now. But overall, we know there's a lot more risk to Trey Lance, but there's a lot more to get out of it. It all depends on what type of risk-reward ratio they're going with. If it's up to me, like I said, I don't think Zach Wilson's going to the Jets, and I think the Niners will scoop him up. But if I'm facing the predicament that I think will happen, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, I'm rolling the dice even more. You're already aggressive with the trade. Keep the aggressiveness up and go with Trey Lance. Put your pile in, throw in all your poker chips, go all for it. Go with Trey Lance. That's my pick. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So, and the one player I'd probably pick for my fantasy 49ers team all time have to be Deion Sanders. Best cornerback of all time. Not a huge argument to it. Thanks for watching, guys. 2 minute warning.